Pythagorean Theorem, Level 2. Find the length of the third side. If necessary, write in simplest radical form. So just give you a huge hint, simplest radical form. We break that down. That's code for break it down to its prime numbers and pull out pairs. If it said nearest tenth, we'd simply use our calculator. So please, again, show the work. So number one, we're going to draw the triangle and label the side lengths. So I'm just going to draw horizontal and vertical, and that's going to represent our right angle, our legs, and then I've got what would be my hypotenuse. Okay, let's see. So this one right here, this is going to be 5 root 3. And this one down here is going to be 5. There's my right angle. And then this side across from the right angle, that's our hypotenuse. I'm going to use our color coding from the earlier problems. The sides that touch or create the right angle, those are going to be yellow. So there's yellow and there's yellow. The side across from the right angle, that's our hypotenuse or our C value. Please remember that the hypotenuse is the longest side. So that's going to be the, let's go ahead and mark this. This is my C value. I'm going to call this A, and then I'll call this one B. If you want to switch them around, that's fine. Okay, so let's write out the Pythagorean theorem. I'm going to write A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. My A squared is 5 root 3, 5 square root 3. And that whole thing should be in parentheses. And then I'm going to square it. Now this is new, but I'll show you. Don't be afraid of this. Now my B squared is just going to be 5 squared. And we should know how to deal with that. All right, let's deal with the familiar first. So we're going to bring down C squared, and we'll get rid of that at the end with the square root. 5 squared is 5 times 5. So we'll simplify 5 squared as 25. And then the way that I'm going to break this down is the number that's on the outside, that's your coefficient, that's just 5 squared. And you should know over here that 5 squared is 25. So I'm just going to go ahead, and that 5 out front is going to be 25. And now I'm going to have to multiply that number out front by whatever this simplifies to. Well, this is the square root of 3, but then it's squared. But you should know by now that a square and a square root symbol, they actually cancel each other out. So this actually simplifies to just regular 3. So again, 5 squared is 25. The square of the square root of 3 is just 3. Again, they cancel each other out. So now I've got 25 times 3 plus 25 is equal to C squared. We have to multiply before we add. So 25 times 3 is 75 plus 25 is equal to our C squared. 75 and 25 is 100. And then we have to get rid of the square by, again, square rooting both sides. And we have our C values equal to whatever this breaks down as. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the number to the side, which is 100, and I'm going to break it down to its prime numbers. So this is going to be 2 and 50. I'm going to circle the 2 because it's prime. 50 will break down as 2 and 25. 2 is prime. And then 25 will break down conveniently to 5 times 5. And again, those are both prime. So now that I'm going to take all those prime numbers and I'm going to put that underneath the square root symbol. So I would have 2 times 2 times 5 times 5. I have a pair of 2's. I'm going to cross those off and I'll put a 2 on the outside. And then I've got a pair of 5's, but again, for every pair, you only mark 1 on the outside. So it's really 2 multiplied by 5. And then 2 times 5 would simplify to 10. And again, just to be clear, everything underneath the radical disappeared. So now that I've simplified it to 10, I can come over here and I can say that 10 is equal to C. And then we'll simply box that because that's our final answer, except that I want a box, not a circle. Let's try it one more time. There we go. Cool. And then just a reminder, we want to plug this into Delta Math. If we get a green check mark, that's good. Remember that the red X, there's nothing wrong with the red X, but if you get the red X, you want to stop and look where you made your mistake. Fix your mistake before you move on. So let's see what we get. Yeah, we got it right. Good job. Hopefully you found this helpful.